Down the stairs, you're going to check for the head bumper, and you're going to check that your stair light is on. Now you're going to check your mirror bracket to make sure that it's secure. You're going to recheck your hood latch to make sure that that's secure because you're going to be going out on the road soon. You're going to check your mechanic's step to make sure that works. And you're going to check your crossover mirror bracket, make sure that that's secure. Your gate. You're going to start from the top and work your way down. So on the top you have 3 amber ID lights. Your school bus sign is clearly marked. You have your 2 red SOS lights are working properly. You have your blue inspection sticker in the windshield. Your windshield wipers, they appear to be in good condition. You're going to pull on the hood, again, just to make sure it's secure. Your grill is secure. Your bumper, give it a kick, make sure that that's secure. Your license plate is secure and it should match the license plate in the back. You're going to check underneath to make sure that nothing is hanging or leaking. You're going to check your high beams to make sure that they're working properly. You're going to check your parking light to make sure that that's working properly. And also your signal light to make sure that that's working properly. Check your crossover mirror bracket, make sure that that is secure. So we're going to check our hood latch, make sure that that is secure. We're going to check our mechanic's step, make sure that that moves freely. We're going to check our mirror bracket here, make sure that that's okay and secure. We have our bus number 66. We do not go into the electric panel, that is for the mechanic. Here we have our battery box. It's clearly marked. It swings freely. And we're looking at the batteries, make sure that there's no corrosion, make sure that nothing's leaking, and make sure that they're secure. Our stop sign, we're making sure it swings freely and that both of the lights are working properly. So we're doing the side of the bus. We're going to start from the top and work our way down. So at the top we have 2 amber clearance lights and 1 red clearance light. They're not cracked or broken and they're working properly. Both of our emergency exits are clearly marked. They have reflective tape around them. We're going to work our way down. We have our company logo. We have our turn signal. It's working properly. We have our US DOT number. That's clearly marked. We also have 2 amber reflectors and we have 1 red reflector in the back. We have our company phone number here, which is also clearly marked. Now we're going to go underneath the bus. Underneath the bus, since this is an air brake bus, we have to check our air tanks and make sure that they're secure and that they're not leaking. We're also going to check our drive shaft and make sure that that is also secure and nothing's hanging, nothing's leaking. We're also going to check our frame and make sure that there's no cracks or welds on the frame. So in the back we have our brake system. So we have brake chambers. The chambers cannot be cracked or leaking, and also there needs to be a clamp that is secure around it. We also have slack adjusters in the back. They're not really visible, but the slack adjuster should move no more than 1 inch and the pin cannot be bent. Now we're going to work on the rear tires. So deep inside you have your leaf springs and you have 2 hangers back here also. They need to be secure and the leaf springs cannot be cracked or broken. You're going to work your way from the inside out. So inside the tire, there's no debris. The treads in the back can be no less than 232. Also, you can have recaps in the back. You cannot have them on the front steering tires, but the tires cannot be mismatched back here. So on the outside of the tire, there's no cracks or bubbles. Outside of the rim, no cracks or welds. All your lug nuts, you're going to check them counterclockwise to make sure that they are secure and there's no rust. Also, all these bright indicators need to be going in the same direction. That will also tell you if a lug nut is loose. Here's our hub. Also check all the hub nuts, again counterclockwise. They are secure, and you're going to rub your hand underneath to make sure that the hub is not leaking. You have two valve stems, and they both need to have caps on them. And how we would check the tire pressure would be with the tire pressure gauge, and it can be no less than 105 psi. And then we would kick the mud flap to make sure that that is also secure. So when we get to the back corner of the bus, we're going to check the side for any new damage. We're also going to check the back for any damage. And you're also going to check all the way up the right side to make sure that there's no new damage. Now we're in the back of the bus. We're going to do a full inspection again from top to bottom. So in the back, the lights are always red. So we have 3 ID lights that are red. They're working properly. The school bus sign is clearly marked. Emergency door is also clearly marked. And there's reflective tape around the door. We have our 2 red SOS lights. They're working properly. You're going to recheck the seals on the windows. Because again, these are kick-out windows. They don't seem to be out of place and they're not leaking. We have our left turn signal light, which is amber, and that is working properly. Then we have our tail lights. They're working properly. We already did the reverse lights, but none of the lenses are cracked or broken. Our other signal light is secure and not broken. We have our license plate, which is secure. I memorized it and I'm matching it with the front plate. They both match. Also, the license plate light is working properly. We have B&B Transportation. We have the phone number. We have the bus number. And we also have 2 red reflectors in the back. So now we're going to open up the door and make sure that that's working properly. So you're going to make sure that the door locks. I can hear the buzzer. You're going to check under the heaters to make sure that there's no debris that could catch on fire. And you're also going to check the seal around your door, which keeps out exhaust fumes. Now our exhaust pipe needs to be out from the bumper at least 1 inch. And that's again to keep out exhaust fumes. I'm going to give the bumper a kick. Bumper's secure. Now we're going to continue and we're going to go down underneath the bus. Underneath the bus, we're going to again check our fuel gauge to make sure nothing's hanging, nothing's leaking. Way underneath, we can see our rear axle is secure, nothing's leaking. We can also see our rear shocks better from this angle, so we're going to check those, make sure that they're secure and nothing's leaking. And also, our exhaust pipe, we're going to make sure that there's no holes or rust on them, so that way we know that nothing's coming out of them, they're not leaking. Now we're going to do this side of the bus. Again, we're going to start from top to bottom, and we're going to work our way all the way down. So at the top of the bus, we have 2 amber clearance lights and 1 red in the back. We have our emergency exits are clearly marked, and they have the reflective tape around them, which is in good condition. We're going to move down. We have B&B Transportation. We have our turn signal, which is not cracked or broken, but we will check it in a minute. We have our bus number. Very important, we have our capacity number of 77 students and no standees. We have our DEF. So the door swings freely and the cap is secure. We have our DOT number again on this side. We have our phone number. And then we have 2 amber reflectors and 1 red reflector in the back. Now we're going to do the back tire. So we're going to start way deep inside and we're going to work our way out. So inside again, you're going to check your leaf springs and your 2 hangers. Make sure that they're secure and that the leaf springs are not cracked or broken. You're going to check in between the tires. Make sure there's no debris. The tread depth on the back tires can be no less than 232. They can have recaps, but they do need to match. No mismatched tires. So now we move out to the tire itself. Out here, no cracks or bubbles. On the rim, no cracks or welds. Check all our lug nuts counterclockwise. They are secure and there is no rust. Check our indicators. They're all going in the same direction. We're going to check our hub, all the hub nuts, counterclockwise. Make sure nothing's loose and no rust. We're going to check underneath the hub, make sure that's not leaking. Then we're going to check our 2 valve stems to make sure they have caps. And we would check the tire pressure with the tire pressure gauge. And again, the PSI could be no less than 105. So underneath the bus, we now need to check the rear brakes on this side. So we're going to check the brake chambers. We're going to make sure that they're not cracked or bent. It has to have a clamp around them, and that clamp needs to be secure. We're also going to check our slack adjusters. They're not visible, but what we would check for would be no more than 1 inch of play and the pin cannot be bent. We would also check our exhaust is on this side. So we're going to make sure that our exhaust doesn't have any cracks in it and that it's not leaking. We would also check the frame on this side just to make sure that there's no cracks or welds on the frame. And from here, we can also check the opposite inside tire, and we can make sure that there's no cracks or bulges on that also. Now we're going to go inside the bus. We're going to turn on our right blinker, we're going to put our low beams on, and we're going to cancel our crossing gate to make sure that that button works properly. Now we're going to start from the front of the bus again, and we're going to check just what we changed. So now we're only going to check what we canceled or what we changed. So our gate cancel is working properly. You can see that now we have our low beams on. They're working properly. Now this is a parking light on this side. That's working properly. And we have our signal working properly on this side. Now we need to check the rest of the signals all the way back. Okay, so this is our second signal light. It is now working properly, and then we're going to go to the back and check the back one. And in the back we have our signal light, which is working properly.